Well, but I would say this, the structures we're going to be clarifying even further in the coming days are designed to assist rural communities as well as the city of Winnipeg, as well as northern communities and Indigenous communities. And so the question of how effectively that can be done in a very, in a very small community like you and I grew up in is a fair question. I would remind citizens, though, of the province that this is a shared obligation too, in particular on, not on the policing side, but on the education and information side. And if you see people that are being disrespectful, you have every right to raise the issue with them directly. And if you see, for example, I've said this before, we haven't had cases, our business community's been wonderful, but if someone is flaunting the rules, a business person, you have every right to report that to us, but you also have the right to tell your friends that that's not a place that you should be honoring with your purchases. These measures are in addition to what any government can do, and in some cases I think probably at least as effective or perhaps more effective than we can do. We're all in this together. Every one of us is impacted, and we will beat this thing by facing it together, and that is essential at this point, and it always will be.
I'll just.
Are you expecting the I'm sorry, are you expecting
Yeah,
the RCMP to
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but if I can maybe just add to what the Premier said, and sorry to have cut you off there. What I'll just say is, introducing measures like fining people up to $1,000 or even discussing possible imprisonment up to 6 months when it relates to playgrounds and skate parks is not something any mayor or Premier, for that matter, wants to announce. This is not what you aspire to do when you enter public service, is to tell people not to go to public playgrounds, places of joy and places of community. And so these measures aren't being done to gain popularity or anything like that, because they won't. But if you have to tell people in your community, if you see people in a city-owned park or play structure where they're not abiding by the public health orders, and you want to blame either Brian, do it if it's going to help protect the health and safety of our citizens. And that's where I want to amplify what the Premier is saying, is there's a role for all of us, and the vast majority of Winnipeggers are acting very responsibly. They're in their homes, they're respecting the health orders, but they can play a role also if you see something that you know isn't being recommended or ordered right now. You can respectfully and engaging in physical distancing, you can do your part. And we're really calling on everybody. This is a shared effort, provincial, municipal, and citizen-centered way of battling a virus that doesn't care about jurisdictions, doesn't care about age, demographics, all those things. I mean, it can impact all of us.